Welcome back, y'all. We got our barley in the silos, our straw bales have been sold, so now we need to get cotton planted and get our chicken on. It's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the last day of cotton planting season, so we are going to get a planter and start putting things together. I do like the Horsch tool, so we'll probably just pick up this Maestro 12SW. There are larger ones and, of course, smaller ones, but this one is about the right size, especially for the amount of money we've got. We've got all of $94,000, and when you look at these big ones, they just cost a lot to lease. It does both seeding and planting and fertilizing. 9-meter wide. So yeah, let's just get this thing leased so that we can get our cotton down. And of course, we'll have the friendly guys at the Lone Oak shop deliver that. And now we need to get this thing filled up with fertilizer and seed so we can get cotton going. We're going to have a worker plant the field while we set up our chickens. Minor misstep. Before we can plant, we do need to plow. We have gotten all the straw turned into bales and then sold, but we have not plowed yet. So we're going to get our Roviclears shank and our weight released just like last time, and we'll have a worker plow the field while we get our chickens together. Unless there's something else I forgot. All right, back on field 32, and we're going to let a worker start the headlands. There he goes. And now we're going to the chicken pen, and we're going to make sure that we get our chickens put in. We're using the white leghorns because, again, we're starting with animals that do the best to produce a sellable good, and the white leghorns are the best egg layers. So we'll get 500 of those. There they are. Now we need to figure out how we feed them, clean their pens, and how we want to deal with their eggs. Because if you do it the way I've seen a lot of people try, it's just terribly not fun and inefficient. Well, we do need a multi-purpose bucket because that's how you clean the pen. Scoop up the stuff that they spill, and the CSC does just fine. I mean, any of the buckets would probably be just fine, but I've used this one a lot, and I know it always does what I need it to, so we're going to pick that one up. We're also going to need a way to feed our chickens, and I'm not going to do it with the bucket. That's no fun, so we'll get us a little tipper. And we want something, so with 4 pens that need 2,000 feet a day, we're going to need something with at least 8,000 capacity, so 10,000 is just a little over what we need. So let's do that, add a cover. And I like the flamey jobby looking thing. Yeah, that's just so utilitarian. Now, give me the flamey looking race stripes. Yeah. We're good. Don't need the big wheels. You can see what it looks like. Yeah, nope. So there we go. Another 14 grand. We're going to buy that because we're going to be using it every single day. So that's taken care of. So we can clean the pins, we can feed them. So I think we got most of it taken care of. The only thing we haven't dealt with yet, but I will, is I want a better way to transport, or I know of a better way to transport eggs than throwing boxes into pickup trucks or whatever else that I've seen. And those boxes right there, they're a pain in the butt to deal with individually. So we're going to combine a couple of things. First is we need a low loader, and this Joskin Wago-Loader is exactly the right size for what I want, because the bigger ones are too hard to kind of get into position over the egg loading place. We'll kind of make it look like our tractor. Why not, right? So that's the rims. I don't know if we can choose a color for that front thing. No, that changed the rims, so we don't want that. That's too much green. There we go. That kind of matches our tractor. And the white thing at the front, I'm just not going to be able to do anything about. So let's go ahead and buy that. Again, something that's just going to be on the farm every day, so we do not want to lease it. Now we need the second part, the egg pallets. These wonderful little things will collect eggs inside the pallets so that we don't have to deal with individual boxes. So we'll go ahead and get 6 of these, because I already know that 6 is what really fits on that Wago-Loader and fits over the egg, whatever you call it, place, the egg collection area. Any more and they won't collect. Any fewer and you end up making too many trips to sell them, and you have to sell them at inopportune times, or you'd have to have another loader for the same pen. Yeah, no, 6 seems to be like the number, at least for these white leghorns. So we got that done. Now we're going to go ahead, and I talked to you guys about this Valtra N series. It's my favorite little tractor, and we're going to need a second tractor right about now with we got a compressed planting schedule and then a bunch of stuff to do for chickens. So we're going to need 2 tractors running around, and I don't need 2 medium tractors. I just need one to kind of take care of the spraying and the light stuff, and then dealing with the chicken stuff. And this is, like I said, it's one of my favorites of the small tractors. There's a configuration for 200 horses. So it'll do most of what we need. Obviously, it can't run that big, the Lear's shanks, because that requires, I think it's 260 horsepower. So it won't be pulling the plow. But it will help us take care of our chickens. So that's been delivered. We're just resetting our worker on the field to make sure he's going to go plow the headlands on the other end of the field, and then we'll get him going back and forth, and we won't have to mess with him for a while. But we do kind of have to manually do this bottom lane, because I've mentioned it last episode. For some reason, they think that the field ends somewhere around here and they'll stop. So you have to manually do it. And manual means mistakes. See, I kind of got off track there. Talking instead of watching. That's alright, we'll get that reset. Said you kind of have to manually do this bottom area. Yeah, for whatever reason, I really don't have any ideas on how to keep them from doing that. Alright, so finish that, getting over the other side. So we're going to set up the worker now and let him do the headlands on this side so that we can get back to getting Chickie with it. And he's off to the races, so we're going to move over. So you can see he's working on the second set of headlands on the other end. And it's because of that path over here that the AI scared of, so we have no choice but to kind of do that. There's a little bit of path or a field that still says need plowing, but I'll get to that later. He'll probably pick that up actually on that run, so that'll be taken care of. So into the Valtra, our small tractor, and we're going to pick up the front loader. Because to put the pallets on the trailer that we just bought, we'll need something that can pick up pallets. So we'll take our sporty little, I think these are made in Brazil, the Valtras. So our sporty little South American, and we're going to take a shortcut to the, oh, that's not it, that's a crash. Again, talking instead of watching, but we'll take our sporty little South American on our shortcut to the shop. And of course, the shortcut has there's like magic barbed wire that doesn't do anything. But we'll cut across this field. It's just a shorter way to get to the shop. There's a little dirt bridge over a creek down here. The creek. Just got to watch out for this big little hilly area, because if you go straight through there, yeah, you get launched. So, at the store, now we have to get these things onto that Wago-Loader. Like this. That was easy, right? You pick up the first one and suddenly all 6 are loaded. It's amazing. There we go. All set. Now we will drag this Wago-Loader back to the farm and drop it off at our single chicken coop that has 500 white leghorns in it. And the beauty about this setup is that you just literally leave the trailer right over the chicken collection place, and it fills up all 6 of those. So we dropped off the trailer, and now the Valtra's picked up the planter, and we're going to help get our field 32 set with cotton. So the Valtra is going to pull the planter while the John Deere is continuing to plow. Kind of like that. Now, in the meantime, and I forgot to record this, I'm sorry, I did buy field 33, and we did have to borrow money for it. And then I bought 3 chicken coops. Now you can see we have $79,000 left. And we obviously didn't have the money to buy that field with just $90,000. Buy 3 coops. And get it stocked with chickens and such. So we borrowed the money for field 33. There just wasn't enough space to stick these, and we want 4. So we borrowed the money. It is what it is. And we said we're going to go high risk. If we have to max out our credit account to stay on track, we're going to. We're going to build this animal farm as quickly as possible. So you can see here's on a second one of them. That's exactly what I meant by dropping it right over the egg collection area. So those will fill up with eggs over time. Of course, not right now because that doesn't have any chickens in it, which we will take care of. So, here we go again. Another 500 white leghorns. And like that. So we will repeat this several times. And it's the same thing. You buy the trailer, buy the pallets, go to the store, load the pallets on the trailer, bring the trailer back. And then, of course, after you have the chickens, you want to feed them. But here you can see in this pen what we did earlier. Each of the pens is a little different with where the location of the feeding and the eggs is, but wherever the egg collection area is, that's where you want to drop that trailer full of pallets. Oh boy, got a little bit of landscaping to do later. On a tight schedule today, we're at almost 5:30, and cotton is not yet planted, and I do not like working the fields at night. It's just so dark. Well, I mean, night is dark, but there's not really like moonlight or anything. It's just dark. So now we're going to take our little Valtra out and run into a guy wire. Okay, now we're going to take the Valtra out, get the planter back, and it's going to be kind of this back and forth. The reason I dropped off the planter and then went and worked on one more chicken pen was because the planter is going faster than the plow. I mean, it's wider. It's almost twice as wide. So it was catching up to the plow. So instead of just sitting around doing nothing, I said, well, we'll just drop the planter off. Let's go get another trailer, get another pen set up. And kind of this back and forth happens until we get all 4 pens set up. We end up with our 2,000 chickens. Plowing and planting at the same time. This is the best you can do in single player is just try to figure out how to use workers the best you can. Otherwise, it takes too long. So in this case, the John Deere is finishing up field 32 as far as the plow. So we'll be able to get rid of the plow and the weight. And now the John Deere will go do the next pin. So it's going to be another trailer, 6 more egg collection pallets. There they are. So we're going to put those on that Wago-Loader and take that back to the farm. We get to do this a total of 4 times. But once it's done, it really does make managing chickens a whole lot easier. No messing with boxes, and you don't have to ever do this again. Once you've got these trailers set up, it's just leave them there until they're full, and or whenever you want to sell your eggs, and then just drag them to the sell point, and you still don't got to touch the individual pallets. You just drive the whole thing over the sell point, and all the egg boxes that are in the egg pallets will sell. Let's get these loaded on there, and we go back to the farm. And just like last time, we just drop it right over the center of... We want to drop the center of the pallets over the center of the egg collection place. And it looks like our other worker has finished planting the field. So we'll fold this thing up. We'll need to empty out all the stuff in it because it looks like it's got, you know, some fertilizer and a little bit of seed. So we'll go drop this over at our stock area and then return it. We don't want to put it right next to the bins because it's too hard to move. So we'll drop everything over here. And then we'll drop the planter here because we've already learned if we leave stuff in our way, we'll definitely remember to return it. And at some point that will be in our way, and we don't want to pay lease fees unnecessarily. And then, since we're done with the field, basically, you know, there's just work that the John Deere can do by itself. We'll return our South American friend. Definitely some landscaping to do, and we'll use the John Deere to kind of finish up caring for the chickens. All the pens have chickens in them. We now have 2,000 chickens. Now what's left to see is how many eggs are we going to get? I've had white leghorns before, and I want to say those 6 crates will fill up once a year. But it's like really close. So sometimes I'll sell twice a year because that's when the peaks are. At least in this geo. And it's the only geo I've played. I may have to do another map in a different geo to see how that affects chickens. Right now we need to refill this for tomorrow because since the chickens are all set, they've been fed, now what we have to do is get ready for Groundhog Day, because even with seasons there's a lot of this. So what we've got is one field that doesn't need much more, some fertilization and weed killer, and then the chickens are just an everyday clean the pen, feed the pen 4 times. So we've got enough feed for all 4 pens. There's 10,000 liters in here. Each pen should need no more than 2,000 liters of food per day. So we've got enough to where we can feed all 4 pens. We just need to trade out these forks for a bucket. Of course, first we may want to clean this area up again because leaving stuff out in the middle does make it difficult to get through here. So we'll put this fertilizer and seed away like that. And then we can get rid of the forks. There we go. Just leave them here, so next time we need to load stuff, we'll be able to use them. or unload stuff, depending on if we're buying from the shop or if we're just rearranging things here. And then we'll go pick up the bucket that's been sitting out in the yard for a day. And we'll set up our Groundhog Day chicken care routine. We'll go in the house. We'll catch some shut-eye. Our chickens look good. 500. They're all starting off between 76 and 80%. The 76 is because it took me a little while to feed this batch of chickens, and they lost a little bit of health. But they'll catch up. It won't be a big deal. But you can see that the field has its first level of fertilization. It is planted with cotton and looks good. Cotton won't come up until like fall. So right now, all we have left is Groundhog Day. Ground Chicken Day? Chicken Hog Day? Who knows? And we'll show you what that looks like in the morning. Speaking of morning, hi. So, what does Groundhog Day look like? Every day you do this with the chickens. So, first, you run the bucket over the little spilled feed. Yep, that's cleaned up. Then you bring your tipper in, and you drop off food. Then guess what? We repeat this 3 more times. And you do this every day. Still haven't gotten around to landscaping, so this is still kind of a stunt thing. So, same thing. Clean the pen. Okay. No, really. Clean the pen and feed the pen. You can see each one's taking about 1,300 right now. As the chickens get more healthy, they will eat more and produce more eggs. But they're at like 80% right now, so they're using about 80% of the feed that they would need. And then on the last pen, once I clean it, I'll dump all the things we've cleaned up into this one trough. So we'll go ahead and just, there you go. And bring the tipper up. Finish feeding them. And don't ask me, we're putting barley in the feed pens, but they spill wheat. The chickens magically convert barley to wheat, apparently, when they make a mess. But that's pretty much it. That's the whole routine. Quick and easy. And with those, the Wago-Loaders and the egg pallets, they're collecting the eggs. We don't have to mess with that until it's time to sell. And then we just hitch up and go. So after we're done with the daily routine, the last part of it is, of course, to fill the tipper back up and reset for tomorrow. And that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for next one, where we get the cotton harvested and finish out all of our chicken pens. And remember to like and subscribe if you want to see how the Lone Oak Animal Farm grows up.